Guys, it's 2026. And if you don't have some awesome digital resources, lead magnets, ebooks for your real estate business, you're seriously missing out on a tremendous opportunity to provide value for your leads, for your customers, to educate, to build credibility, trust, and authority for you, for your business. And it's easier than ever before. And in this quick training, guys, I'm going to show you exactly how you can create some really high quality digital assets, ebooks, lead magnets for your real estate businesses to convert leads, to convert contacts, and of course, to nurture existing opportunities in your pipeline. So let's go ahead. I'm going to now just get straight into this thing. I'm going to share my screen with you guys and come into a very simple step by step. I personally, guys, like to try to keep things as easy to follow as I can in these trainings. We're limited on time and stuff. So here we go. Let me find my Zoom. It disappeared. There we go. All right. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start again, super, super simple document, guys. Start with a hook. What did Ruben just talk about in Violet's video, in every book, right? This is old science. Book covers need a good title. They need a good, or books in general need a good title. You need a good cover, and it needs to be more than just something real estate, right? It should be juicy. It should be compelling. It should be interesting. They don't necessarily get to see the cover art like at a bookstore, but they can see the title of your book and the way that you speak about the book. I have the ultimate guide for my real estate ICP in the ABC zip code. So it's the ultimate guide for exactly who your ICP is in their zip code they want to buy or sell. That's a very compelling title, much better than a buyer's guide. Buyer's guide is an extremely weak title, right? In terms of on the scale of good to bad titles. Seller's guide is a very weak title in terms of on the scale of things. If let's say you're working with veterans and you're specializing in waterfront properties and you're in a city, right? The ultimate veterans guide to waterfront properties in X. Now we're getting closer, but is it for buyers or sellers, right? When you still want to include that piece. So the very first thing, guys, I want you to focus on your either existing books. You might already have a resource. Is it titled well? Is it specialized? Can you position it when you want to go do a social media post or put it on a lead magnet as a lead magnet on a landing page on a website? Are you able to speak about it that way? Does it have a hook built in, right, to the title, to the subject of the book, of the ebook, of the digital resource? So you will hear us reiterate that, and you're going to hear it everywhere else you go as well. Whether you're creating a YouTube video, a TikTok, you're creating a book, anything, you need something to hook them. It might not be called a hook in other things. It might be called something else, a teaser or something. The concept is you need to get someone's attention with something flashy, dramatic, interesting, provocative. You need to do that first because the attentions are extremely hard to get these days, right? People's attention is very divided. It's very spread out across many things now. And there's a million things competing for that attention. So you have to do something to address that. And that's a hook. That's the book title. That's the way that you talk or position this digital resource. So that's number one, guys, is start with a hook, a really good title and a strong opening. That means when somebody accesses your resource, your ultimate veterans buyer's guide for waterfront property in X, when they open that, it starts with something compelling. And don't worry, guys, you don't have to be an author, right? We have AI, and I'm going to show you a simple prompt here that I'm going to deliver to everybody in the real estate coaching that has an email that's registered. We'll get this. And it's basically, you want to start with something compelling. I'm going to say include a story. What did Ruben just talk about as well? Again, not directly coordinated to real estate, but it's applicable universally. Storytelling is a extremely powerful way to get people to remember things, to get them to understand, relate to things, to build trust and credibility with something. Storytelling is the oldest form of passing down our history, right? Before we had written, there was only storytelling. So you're going to tell a story, whether that's your personal journey, whether that's the journey of the ICP that you're looking to work with, young or the veterans looking for waterfront property. I want to tell you the story about a veteran named John. He was in Vietnam and he lost his leg and he was freezing his buns off up in whatever and wanted to come down to Florida. Anyway, so that's the idea of the story that's coordinated, directed toward your ICP, toward the person that should be viewing these resources. And the resources we're talking about creating is we're not boiling the ocean, right? I'm not creating the ultimate real estate guide for the United States. That's the broadest target and no one's listening. No one cares. But if I create a very specific type of resource, catered to the people you want to do business with, right? Guys, 10, 20 sessions ago, I talked about picking your ICP, your ideal clients, the people that you want to work with, the people that make sense in your farm, in your geographical area, your sphere of influence. You got to pick one that makes sense for you. And that's who these digital resources are for. And if you're like, I don't know who to write it for, go back to step one, pick your ICP, because that's who these resources are for. And of course, you'll have different segments. Maybe you have buyers, sellers, investors. Maybe you're doing recruiting for your brokerage. These are where you'll have these different types of resources. And the rules that I'm showing you in this checklist are applicable to any one of these. So always need a good hook, a good title, a strong opening. You should always tell a story, a personal narrative, a story of the ICP and the journey, the hero's journey they've gone through. When I met the veteran, he was in a bad place, unhappy with his thing. We rolled over his mortgage and did a transfer, and now all dream come true and he's happy. That's a powerful story that is directed toward your ICP that people will connect to and remember. That's also an element that I've seen missing out of the majority of people's digital resources. It's like, here's the checklist. And it's just like data point 1, data point 2. And it's very dry and very boring and very unmemorable. And I want you guys to have a resource that isn't not just a resource. Does it check the box? I want this thing to do what it's supposed to do for you, which is to build trust, authority, credibility, and create a conversion, create a conversation. When somebody finishes reading your short resource here, I want them to take an action. And that's why we're crafting it this way. Start with something interesting. Tell a relevant story. This part is also what I've seen missing, guys. A lot of the times a brokerage will offer a resource. Say, hey, here at XYZ brokerage, we have some lead magnet resources for you. And it includes your headshot. But guess what it doesn't include? It doesn't include anything else about you. Why did you get into real estate? What is your unique differentiator, right? I remember the first training I went into when I got my real estate license, the first thing I was taught is why you? You have to be able to articulate to a lead, to a family member, to anybody, why they should choose to work with you as a real estate agent versus the plethora of options available to them. So you should all have that as well. And this is what needs to go in your book. This is what's not going to come in an off-the-shelf, whatever thing generated or provided for you. It's not going to have you in it, your flavor, your soul. And guys, Ruben's narrative that he just shared from Violet, that background, that history, that vulnerability, that is not only the number one thing on social media right now, the number one metric of like what makes something interesting is authenticity, right? Somebody crying or something. It's very authentic. That's how people are connecting to people. I'm not saying cry in your book and tears or whatever, but I'm saying is telling that story, including you, including what makes you you, why you work with you, your personality, a picture of your dog, a picture of your kids. That is what I'm talking about, including you into this. And I'm going to show you a way in a prompt to do this, right? You can make the ebook and it's super easy to include this stuff as long as it's part of your book from the start. You're not just randomly injecting images of your kids into the book on pages that don't make sense. So the next piece, include you, right? Start with a hook, interesting piece. Tell a story, include you. Whether you're in the story, it's your client's story, you got to include you. This does mean, yes, your headshot, you need to be visibly in your resource to create some FaceTime, even if they're accessing it through a video. Your personal insights, your background, why you, again, what do you have to say about this specific market, this thing that you created this resource for? What are your personal thoughts? You're going to jot that stuff down because it's going to go into the prompt that is going to make all this stuff happen in one step. So you don't even need to come up with the hook. You don't need to come up with the good title and the strong opening. The story I recommend coming up with, the story I recommend contributing, because then it's going to be real and you're going to be able to tell it real and authentically, and there's no lie or mistruth behind that. So the hook, the title, the opening, the other stuff that I'm going to list, AI is going to provide 90% of that, but it can't provide the pieces that I'm telling you to include, which is your personal stories, your personal insights, what makes you you, why you. Those are the first 3 items. The next step, AI will do the rest. Say, hey, AI, here's about my real estate business. What are specific resources and thoughts and strategies and ideas, concepts I might include into this book I'm creating, given who I'm creating it for? So this is part of the prompt, right? What are topics that I didn't include in my personal contribution, right? Because maybe you already covered a lot. You're like, hey, I'm working in probate. This is the ultimate probate guide for Miami. And I've been working in probate for 10 years. So here, I dropped all the gold nuggets and AI doesn't have anything to put on top of it. That's possible. Unlikely, but possible. So of course, you're going to drop in your stuff first And then you're going to ask AI, what are the topics that I didn't consider, right? In being an expert in this main topic, probate in Miami or waterfront and veterans in XYZ city. What are the topics that you didn't think of? Oh, well, with waterfront, there's these zoning laws or these special taxes or these Mellorues or whatever, right? And oh, you're right. I totally forgot about that. So then you're going to use AI to cover the bases, cover your holes that maybe you didn't consider for this book to actually be really valuable. Because the last thing you want is to have a book that says, here, I'm positioning myself as an authority, and it's missing some obvious things that should be there, right? That's going to have the opposite effect. Whereas if it has all the things, most of what should be considered there, even if another agent or broker or something's looking at this resource, they're going to be like, damn, our resource needs to be this good. Or the person, hopefully the prospect looking at the resource is going to say, this is valuable. I learned something from this. I got value from this. That's what we need to have them experience, whether it's a video or these digital ebook type resources I'm discussing. We need to have that moment, that aha, that yes from the prospect. Otherwise, it's having the opposite effect, right? They're going to start looking elsewhere, talk to our competitors, forget about us. But if we have the moment we're looking for, using all these tactics and tricks, right? The NLP, psychology, standard marketing tactics that have been around, basic human communication, like storytelling for many thousands of years. We're bottling all of that up, guys, into one resource. And again, AI can do the majority of the lifting for it. Number 5, there's a prompt that I have right here on my side that I'm going to share with you guys. In fact, if you're still here listening and you'd like access to this prompt, put something in the chat. Say prompt. Just put anything, one in the chat. Put whatever in the chat at this point. Prompt, probably easy. I'm going to get this exact copy over to you guys straight to your email. I'm still fleshing the final details of it out as I'm typing it. So I'm going to get you guys the polished version. But okay, what are the topics that I didn't consider? Given this is the topic, veterans, waterfront, whatever city, cover all your bases. That doesn't mean include every single thing in this resource because there might be a lot that's not there. You're going to pick your favorite contributions and what makes sense for you. You as the local expert should be able to tell something, right? I like this. This is not, I want to include this. That's going to be number 6, human review. Because the prompt is going to generate some beautiful text that's ready to turn into a digital resource in one step. But we need to do one human step before that, which is to do the human pass. We need a human pass on it where before you generate the slides, which I'm going to show you the step of it right now, you need to do a visual human pass to make sure you like what's there, that it makes sense for you logically, chronologically, all that. You need to say, yes, 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 yes. Okay, I read the 10 page, it's a very short book. Don't worry. People's attention spans. Again, we don't want long books. That's way more work. Great, but also way more work to keep it really good. So we're talking about a short book, guys, like 10 pages, 10 slides or so. So you should read through this yourself and make sure I absolutely agree with 100% of the images, the text, the stuff that not images, but the text that's here. Once that's confirmed, then there's the final pass, which is to put it into, or second to final pass, I should say. All this up until now was just brainstorming in your mind what I think, what I want. Then I'm going to start writing stuff down. I'm going to type the story that I want to tell. I'm going to type or voice to text into a Word document, into a chat prompt. Voice to text, your background, your insights, your personal take on this topic. Tell your story, include your story. The rest AI is going to do, right? It's going to cover all the stuff you didn't think of. It's going to provide 10 different hooks. It's going to provide suggested titles and strong openings, given the stories and the personal piece that you provided. Then you're going to read this with your human eyeballs one time and say, I like, okay, good. The thing that you're going to be reading, guys, is still in the prompt. This is before we're transferring it to the ebook. So you're going to do the revision in text first, because the next step, it's harder to revise. Make sure you're happy with the text. Now, the final step, guys, the final 2 steps, I should say, are to transfer it over to Gamma. I've shown this tool a number of times, but I realized that's where I was missing some of the steps. Gamma is the one that transfers text into some nice slide, and then which are ebook, right? What's going to be missing from those, though, are your personal images. So right here, we're going to go create new. This is in Gamma. You can sign up for free. You don't even need to put a credit card in unless you start using it like crazy. At least get your buyer guide, your seller resource your investor resource if you're dealing with them, whatever segments that you're dealing with in your business, you'll want a resource uniquely for each one of those. And this is how it's created. All the steps prior to this generated the text. You reviewed it with your human eyeballs, and then you're going to come paste it right into here. And then down here, it's going to say preserve this exact text. We already reviewed it with our eyes. We don't want them to summarize or change it. So we're going to preserve it, and you're going to click the next button, and then you're going to select a theme, a color, a font style that you like. And then you're going to be given a tool that looks like, or a resource, sorry, that looks something like this. And the final pass, guys, the final one comes in where we're going to replace these stock images. Some of them might be nice. Like this is a life insurance guide for seniors. There's some seniors enjoying a nice view. So it's okay. But what would be better here is something real, something personalized. This is just AI generated. I would say I don't like AI generated images at this time in our marketing. There's too many people that are reacting negatively to it, right? Long M dashes like this, don't have that stuff in your writing. Pure AI generated images that are obviously AI generated, I don't recommend having that there. If you want to use like Google Gemini for something like Nano Banana or a very high quality image that people can't tell if it's fake or not, that's fine. I'm going to recommend to not have obvious AI generated images of humans, at least, right? Don't put AI human stuff in your marketing right now. So this image, I actually don't really like here. I'd put something else. And the other piece that this is going to be missing is your personal information, a picture of your client, John, a picture of your headshot, your personal little image of your website, something, right? That's what you'll need to add in here. And it's really easy, right? You just drag in your images and upload your image and put it in. It's like a PowerPoint or Canva. But the amount of effort that you're putting into this to make it on the final polish is 1/1000th of what it used to be to create something like this. It would have taken hours and hours and hours to create something like this before. Even with more recent, like before Canva was more AI powered. These things are not easy, and now they are much easier. So that's where the quality, guys, is it more important than ever, right? Videos used to be hard to make, and now AI can make them easy. But now the expectation of the quality is much, much, much higher. Same thing goes with resources like this. And that's why in this session, guys, we really focused on the quality of the resource. It needs to have those human, authentic contributions and parts. The last piece of all of it, it needs to have an irresistible offer, guys. Don't offer the free consultation anymore. At the end of your book, make it better than that. I've seen some interesting creative things out there. I've seen, some guarantees. I don't want to give away people's secret languages, but I've seen some very interesting ways to make your offer much more compelling and interesting than just free evaluation, free consultation. It's all about how you position it, right? For example, I could say, hey, we offer a free consultation. Normally, this consultation costs $300. If that's not true in this case, but I could say that, right? And then now all of a sudden, the perception of this consultation is that it's a $300 value. I gave this example yesterday because it's an easy one, but it's my catalyst for you guys to say, hey, if your offer right now, if your CTA right now looks the same exact as everybody else's, what can you go do to fix that immediately? Because you need your message to be stronger than your competitors, right? You need it to be more compelling, more irresistible, so that you get more conversions. And this is the same in your ebook. It's the same in your videos, the same on your social posts, on your landing pages. Try to make that offer as strong as possible. And if it's exactly the same as your next 10 competitors, I don't think that's the case, right? It's not as strong as possible. It's the same as your competitors. So final takeaway for you guys on the ebook creation, and I'll get the prompt over to anyone that requests it. And if you're watching this video on YouTube at some other point, you can drop in the comments. We'll get the same prompt over to you. See you in the next video. Thank you.